Hello and welcome back to Butcher That Model. And today we're going to look at things like fences, hedges, just things to break up. Is it a diorama, if you can use it for that, or if you're war gaming, just to break up a battlefield. Really simple stuff, really simple stuff. And depending on era, there's different sorts of fences over the years. So before we start, we'll have a look. Shoes in. And the first one in was Dad. So I don't know if Dad's still there because he's got an appointment at 2. I'm guessing it's a phone appointment. So he said he might be watching, but he won't be. He might be busy on the phone. And then Nat was in, saying hi, Dave, and she'll be watching in the background with the kids. She must have just come home from school, and we'll come in a chance once we're sorted out. So hi, Nat and Paige, and Connor, hello. And then Chris came in as well, saying he's at work, but he's gonna sneak a few watches now and again because he can do that because he makes watches, so he can sneak a few watches. And then Scott's in. Hello, Scott. How's Orkney today, mate? We'll put it in the chat in a second. Because it's a long way to go, you know, for me to Orkney. Right, so let's have a look. What we're going to do, fence-wise. Like I said, there's different eras, different time periods. And who else in? Jeff's in. Can he go from Mungo all the way over in America? What are we on there? Are we on morning, Jeff, or are we on evening? Whichever one it is. Welcome, Jeff. Nice to see you again, mate. Right, eras. So the first sort of what I'm going to look at is as far back in history as we can really go, really, and that's that sort of fencing, like the one I put up on the picture. I mean, it's still used now, but it's birch twigs and then woven. Really simple to do, and the materials most people can get hold of. First of all, you want just a bit of cardboard box, and you want that because we want this bit, and then we want some of these, just normal everyday cocktail sticks in the UK, or toothpicks if you're in the States. And all we're going to do is push them in about 3 gaps on the corrugation. Just stick them in. Stick them in. We won't go mad. We won't go too far down. Depending on the length that you want it, you know, just cut your cardboard to length and then just start poking in your toothpicks to the size you want. Really, very simple. Really simple to do. So just space them about the same. Doesn't have to be exact because it's thin, that one. Right, I mean that's far enough, so we'll just chop that bit off. Chop him off there. So end up with that. That's it. Really simple. Right, the next thing I'm going to use is this stuff. This is calico, but you can use hemp. Just garden twine from any DIY shop or garden centre. We'll sell this. It's dirt cheap, and this will last you a very long time. So I find the best thing to do is just plonk him on the floor and find your end, and then just get a dab of super glue. That's a bit of a bent stick. We don't want that. Place that one. I didn't realise that. Never noticed. Bit of a bent cocktail stick. Right. So all we're going to do is put a tiny dab of super glue on the first one. And we're going to get our end. And just hold it on there for a second till it sets up. This is probably the boringest bit of this bit. Actually, it's not. This next bit might be boring for you. Right, so once it's done, what you're going to start doing, it's not set up yet, is you're going to start weaving it around the cocktail sticks, and then just push it down as you go. I usually do about 3 and then hold it down, about 3 and hold it down, and then the next one, next line, do it the other way. So around about 3 of them, and then push down. Around about 3, and push down, and then just keep it slightly taut as you're doing it. 1, 2, 3, 4 with that one, and back to the end again. So we go around, and then the opposite again. Pull it down. And that's all we're going to do to get to the very, very end, or the height that we want our fencing to be. This is more like a gnat, sort of. Matt, you'll be good at this. 1, 2, 3. And all you're doing is push it down all the time. Keep it nice and taut. And push it down. Now, occasionally I've done it in the past where I've misjudged it and I've done the same direction on 2. But it doesn't matter, because if you look at the thumbnail that I put for this actual stream of an actual woven birch fence, they weren't as neat as this. They'd do 2 or 3 and miss 1, and it depends. I suppose it depends on the length of the birch twigs that they've got as to. I thought this would be a lot neater than it would be in real life, but it's only, at the end of the day, the thing with modelling is it's just a representation of something in real life. So if you make a mistake and do the same direction and end up with 2 runs the same, it's fine, doesn't matter. Absolutely fine. So just run it. It's a really simple technique, but it looks incredibly effective when you've done it. Down that. That's done it as well. Hang on, I've done it now. I've done it. Where I've missed one. That's it. That goes there. Down there. That's better. See, even I mess it up sometimes, and I've done loads of these. Like I said, it doesn't matter, because in real life, that's what they look like. And then we've got, for some reason, we've got a bizarre bit hanging off there. We'll incorporate it into it and trim it off later. Round and round. It's just like basket weaving. At the end of the day, it's the same technique, isn't it? I'm not going to go mad with this. I'm going to go building loads of it. That way, that way, that way, that way. Weave it round. Oh, thanks, Jeff. It's very, very inexpensive, mate. So cheap. But I mean, if you was to buy this, if you was to buy, you know, fencing for gaming, right, it's quite expensive, about £8 a pack. Well, you still got to paint it anyway. But you know, it's just a bit of fun as well. At the end of the day, if you can create something, you know, and get the pleasure of crafting something, why not do it? That's where I look at it. In the past, I've had to do it through financial constraints, you know, make do. But quite enjoy doing it now. I've got to right, so let's say that's the height that we want it. The next thing we want to do is get a manky old brush. There's a manky old brush. And then we're just going to coat it in PVA. And what that'll do is that'll glue it all together, but it'll harden it a little bit as well. So I'll dab a super glue at the end of that one, just to lock it all off. Leave it for a second to set up. And the beauty of this is you can make it as long and as tall as you want. It's entirely up to you, isn't it? And it's so simple to do. It's time consuming, but at the end of the day, that's taken me what, 10 minutes? That's all. Now, I've got a big project on the go where I'm making a whole village. But not like I did with the timber frame buildings. I'm going older than that. I'm actually going back to Saxon times, and I'm making roundhouses. The only problem is my local supplier that I need to get the roofing material for it isn't open. I went in again today and it's still not open, so that might have to go on hold for a little bit. But traditionally a roundhouse was made with this interwoven birch between poles and then covered in mud and straw and manure, and the technique was called wattle and daub, and it was used right through until well into the Middle Ages. In fact, it was still being used in Edwardian times. Wattle and daub. So what I've done is I made sections, and this is going to be the main roundhouse for the centre of the village, and I'm just going to make smaller ones. But what I'm going to do with that later on is I'm going to actually cover that in plaster, in that filler, and it will be perfect wattle and daub then. But the roof is the thing that's causing me the issue at the moment, because I cannot get the material that I want to use to make it at the moment. I probably could if I went online and ordered it, but I'd rather go. Online's all right, it's fantastic, but I'm one of these people that I'd rather go to a local shop, a local business, and give them the business. At the end of the day, we're all in the same boat. We're all struggling with what's going on in the world. So why not support local business, you know? People in your area with a job at the end of the day. I know sometimes it's not that easy, and you do, and unfortunately it's the way of the world. Shops have overheads and staff have got to pay, so you do actually pay more, or slightly more. You know, if you bought a light bulb in a shop, it'll cost you £1.50. You buy a light bulb online, it'll cost you £1.20. Yeah, it is cheaper to buy online, but at the end of the day, you know, when all your local shops are closed and all we've got is online and Amazon, you don't walk to the chip shop, you phone Uber Eats, you know what I mean, and get it from a big supplier. I get it, but I'm one of these people, I'd rather just walk into a shop and peruse and look at what I'm going to buy, you know what I mean? I'm kind of like that. Anybody else feel the same? Light bulb, hello folks. You know, if you don't support your local business and your local high street, what we're going to have left is online. And then what's to say, if that's the way the world's going in 20 years time and all the local shops are closed, most of them, and you can only buy things online, what's to say the prices aren't going to start skyrocketing then? You know what I mean? It's catch-22. So there we go, that's as simple as it gets. Interwoven fencing. How simple is that? It's that simple, even I can do it. See? Now, so what's the next sort of thing we can look at? Let's look at hedges. Well, how simple is that? Let's make a quick hedge, shall we? This is foam board, the XPS foam that I use. Now the simplest way of doing that would just be to stick that on a couple of lolly sticks and paint it green. You know, how simple is that? But the way I like to do it is I'd just cover that, I'd paint it green, I'd cover it in PVA once it's dry, and then flock it, and you end up with a rather serviceable hedge to put around your little bit, you know, your cottage, if you made a cottage like I made last week. Put it down. The kids are decontaminated and I'm happy to do it all day. I'm glad the kids are decontaminated. Matt, what I tend to do with Tommy when he comes home is we've got a big tin bath in the yard. We just sheep dip him. It's the simplest way of doing it. Keeps the household safe from chocolate velociraptors. Just sheep dip them. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. They get used to it in the end. So what would be the next sort of easy to do wall you can make? A wall. And it's the same principle. All it is XPS foam. Or if you're crafting foam board, that you take the 2 bits of paper off either side of it. So I've already started one, just to make it a bit quicker. All you're doing, the white balance, I'm sorry, it hates the white balance, doesn't it? All you're going to do is get a pen, draw your rocks into it, and press down. So you get a defined, an actual definition between each brick. And then carry it on over the edge, and on the 2 sides and the top, and then just match them up. Just these ones, just the edge ones. That's all you're going to do. Do it like that. Yeah. Just match your edges up. That way, it just, when you look at it, you've got continuity. So once you match your edges up, the next best thing to do is to put random lumps, just random rocks anywhere. Just random shapes, rounds, flats. And what that does is it stops you getting too rigid in your pattern. I am a random lump. Fox just called me a random lump in the chat. He's absolutely right. I will not deny the fact I am a random lump. I don't think anybody can be more random than I can be sometimes. I'll give you that one, Fox. I am a random lump. So we'll just fill in the gaps then, and you'll find it gives you a more natural looking formation of your rocks. Who else is in? Oh, Raging Base is in. Blimey. Oh, Raging, you all right, mate? All right, so we'll do that, and we're just basically just filling in just random lumps and bumps and rocks, and doesn't take long, a couple of minutes, that's all. And you can, and yet again, this is the same thing. If you've got a 4x3 sheet of MDF foam, this cave is not a natural formation. I'll do it. Do you know, I haven't done a cave. I have seen a fantastic, talking to Case Fox, I saw a beautiful diorama of potholers in a cave. And what they'd used was one of these natural crystal things, like a big lump of rock, and you smack it in half, and you've got all the natural crystals inside it. And they put LED lighting shining into it with these potholers. It looked absolutely amazing. But I hate to think how much one of those lumpy bits of rock with all the crystals inside actually cost. But it did look fantastic. Right, so once you've got your basic technique done, what you want to do is you want to get yourself something like a metal file. I quite like this I've got one of these, it's a triangular foam. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to give these end blocks some real definition to start with. And just give them a scrape through, and it will really define them. And then what you want to do, once you've gone around the edges, what you want to do then is you want to get yourself your craft knife and just start taking off. Mind your finger. Fox, please don't do this without proper safety equipment. It's a stabby thing. Just start chipping away at the edge of it. Otherwise, you'll just end up with a nice flat, smooth 90-degree, and you don't want that. That looks silly. Just rip away at it and take little chunks out, and it will give it a really natural look. Now this stuff, this expanding foam, this XPS foam, is so versatile and so cheap. You won't believe how cheap this stuff is. If you go to a DIY outlet store, whether it's in the UK, if you go to B&Q or Home Base, if you're in the States, with a Home Depot or something like that, you can pick this stuff up dirt cheap. You look online, like I said earlier, support your local businesses. If you look online, crafting foam board, the bit that's got the paper on it, when you work it out, it's expensive stuff. If you just go and get XPS foam, insulation foam from a builder suppliers or a DIY shop, I paid $16.99 for 8 sheets that were 4 foot by 3 foot, and it's lasted me nearly a year, and I'm on my last sheet now, and I'll quite happily go and get another sheet in a few weeks' time. Nip down to B&Q and pick up another pack of it. For that price, 17 quid to buy some model kit, and I must have made 40-50 models out of it. The price of one plastic model kit. Alright, so once you've got it, obviously once you've got it like that, all you want to do is get your craft paint. Remember what I said earlier as well, guys, I'm always saying it. This stuff is what you use. Pots of Citadel paint, pots of Tamiya, your Vallejo. If you start crafting that, it costs you a fortune. Get yourself just ordinary crafting poster paints, Crawford and Black from the works, 2 quid, and that'll last me for months. And tester pots from your DIY shop, painting tester pots. Please don't try and use modeling products, miniature painting products. It will cost you an absolute fortune. And this stuff just does the job. It really does do the job. What you do? I'm just going to paint it black. Now at this time, normally when I'm on my own, I'd have YouTube on and I'd stick on Paint It Black by the Rolling Stones, and I'd quite happily sit there painting things black for 2 or 3 hours. Literally just slap it on, as Ted would say. Just slap it on nice and thick. You don't have to mess about. We're not looking for finesse, we're just looking for coverage. Get it in there. All the nooks and crannies. As my nan used to say, all the crooks and fannies. Bless her. She had a thing called spoonerisms. My nan used to say words backwards and put the first letter of the second word is with a, We was watching the Eurovision Song Contest last year, and bearing in mind she used to get the first letter of the second word and the first letter of the first word on the second. And Bucks Fizz. Well, yeah, work it out yourself. That's them there. which made the entire family laugh. We won't say it because please, P's and Q's in the chat, because Nat's in and Paige and Connor are home from school, and I know they do like to watch crafting things. So, and they are at that age where they can read. So please don't use expletives in the chat. Basically, you paint it black, sing your head off to Rolling Stones when you're doing it, leave it to dry, and then you dry brush it grey. And then all I do, the lolly sticks underneath it. And that's how simple it is to make walls for wargaming. And that one. Now, should we get posh? Let's put that on one side. Let's get really posh. Let's say you're not the sort of person that thinks, you know, well, that looks cheap and, you know. I don't like that. I prefer real stone walls. You can actually make some very, very convincing and dry stone walling. Do you remember last week or the week before, when I went to my local pet shop and bought budgie sand, bird sand, which contained sand and crushed shell? I'll end up here. I've got a big pot of it. A big pot of it. Let's put that on one side. We won't leave that for a minute. Don't do that again. So, how are we going to turn this budgie grit into a very convincing dry stone wall? Here's one I prepared earlier. It's quite solid. It's not, I haven't painted it yet. I'm going to base it and paint it. It's not a quick technique. It's not a quick technique at all. This is a technique that takes about a week. So how do we do it? We get ourselves, we go and rob from our children, we go and rob some Lego, and we make a frame. Just make a frame out of Lego. Just preform it, and then get some greaseproof paper. This is the stuff you don't use in your wet palette, but this is the stuff we use for other things in crafting, and I'll show you another thing to do with this in a minute, or later on. Right, so what we do is we make a little, and cut it to shape, and literally poke it in that. You don't really need to do this because the stuff we're going to use generally doesn't tend to stick to plastic so well, but I just like to do it because it keeps them clean. So what we're going to do, we're going to scoop some into a little container, and we'll put the lid on that before we knock it flying. We'll put it down there nice and safe. So we've got some in a container. We want a nice stirry stick. Another lollipop. I always end up using a lollipop stick, don't I? There's two things you'll find with me. I'll generally use a lollipop stick when I'm crafting something, and whenever Teddy's on, I have to get the joke in that I knew a girl from Morecambe like that. At some point in anything that Ted does, that's my goal on Ted's things, is to get that line in somewhere. I knew a girl from Morecambe like that, Ted. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to whack some PVA in it, and then stir it and stir it and stir it. And stir it and stir it, get it all nice and glooped. And we end up with like a PVA concrete mixture with our crushed budgie shells and PVA glue. Now, the problem is with this method is PVA glue is air drying. Totally air drying. And we're sealing most of it up, which is why it takes about a week for it to get from this stage to this stage. All you're going to do, literally, poke it in the mould, tamp it down and get it all the way in there. Tamp it and tamp it and tamp it. And just fill it all up. It's so simple. Right, and then you throw it in the bin. You don't need that anymore. Throw it away. Throw it in the bin. Just discard it straight away. And then all you're going to do is you're going to leave that now for about 48 hours. And then after 48 hours, take it out of the mold and then leave it for another day or two. And then start. What you'll find then is the top of it is rock hard. But all down here is still wet. So what you want to do is you want to start peeling the paper off from around it a little bit and then leave it for another day and then peel a bit more and leave it for a day. So it's not a quick technique, it is literally a week's technique. But then once let's put that one side now, stick it on a base. Stick that to one side somewhere just to let it dry naturally. So where do we put that? Well, put it. There it is. So what we'll do, get our Yankee bush. Now, I only did. I've no need to use these. I'm not into that much realism with my wargaming. I only dioramas, but not wargaming. I'm not doing a diorama with a wall in it, as far as I know, in the foreseeable future. So what I'll do is just paint it black. I only did a short one, same as that. That's the same mold I used. You make it as big as long as you want. So, paint that in. And that should actually dry pretty quick, actually. Put that back in there. Get a couple of lolly sticks. Black paint on the end now. Get a weapon of choice. Oh no, can't do that, copyright. Can't do James Bond music. Plug that in, leave that there to get warm for a minute. While that's doing that, should we talk about another sort of fencing? What about if you was doing something? I don't know, let's have a look at chat. Do you know, let's have a look at chat. Who's doing what? I haven't read chat yet. So who else has come in? Foxy's there, and what are you all going on about? Thank you, Todd. Now, thank you, Dave. Connor is multitasking. Be careful multitasking, Connor. It's a female thing. Don't let women know that we can actually multitask, right? Because they'll get you doing jobs and all sorts, and thinking and breathing, which can sometimes lead to disaster. So don't let mummy know you can actually multitask, right? Good tip, mate. Good tip. Don't tell her I said that, though. Just getting used to. What's raging? What are you doing, matey? I'm just reading the chat. Don't worry about me. Yeah, good idea. Thanks for the tip. Yeah, you can always rely on Fox for good tips, especially when it comes to videoing and editing. He's helped me a lot over the years, so thank you I do appreciate you, Fox. Although I might give you a stick and I might take the mickey, but I do actually appreciate you. I would never guess the stone features could be created this way. You'd be amazed at what you can do, Jeff, if you just think outside the box a little bit, mate. That's all it is, isn't it? Just come up with something. You know what? I'll give that a go. 9 times out of 10 it fails. But at the end of the day, you've had a go at something, haven't you? What's this? There's the beauty of dials. There are most infinite options that you can make. Yeah. As long as it looks random or organic. Yeah, that's the main thing, Fox, isn't it? It's just getting things to look natural. Ah, you got iMovie. Oh, you're in that Apple stuff, aren't you, mate? Fox, no matter how much stick you can give me, you're only a little stick. Yeah, right with it. Cheers, mate. I'm only a little fella. I am only a little fella. Right, that should be nice and warm there. Oh, I forgot about that. Do you know, be careful when you buy one of these little glue guns. I've got two. I've got a dirty, great big industrial, wonderful, all singing, all dancing thing, and then this little tiny cheap one that only uses a 7mm glue stick. The only thing is you don't get much cable with it, so you end up sitting with the extension on your knee, so you can actually reach to do the job. So we'll just pop a bit of hot glue down on that. We'll stick the two together. We'll just plunk our little rock wall thing on there. Undo that for a second. We'll use that again in a bit. I'm going to show you a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful way of saving an absolute fortune. Literally, you'll like this one. This will save you so much money in a bit. You'll be like, what? How is that even possible? So we'll leave that to dry. Now the next sort of fencing, if you was, depending on what sort of game system you're playing, anywhere from like the 1900s onwards, so First World War, Second World War, not really First World War, but Second World War definitely, and modern day stuff, fencing. Yeah, Reggie's saying that he prefers Apple when it comes to music and art stuff. I've never really got on with it. I think what did it for me with Apple was the fact that they want money for everything. It's constantly like, you got to pay for this. Yeah, you want this, you got to pay for it. You want that, you got to pay extra for it. That's the only thing that sort of puts me off with Apple, but it's just me. That's just the way I am. Scott, I need a fancy cordless one, Dave. Yeah. I've got a fancy one. The one I've got is actually my nice one's a Loctite one, and it's 10mm glue sticks, which I quite like. But at the moment, I've run out of 10mm glue sticks. So anyway, wooden fencing, and all that is cut down lollipop sticks or popsicle sticks. If you're in the States like Jeffries, just popsicle sticks. You buy them for the craft shop, buy a whole big bag of them for $1 or £1, and you can make as much fencing as you could possibly use. And all it is you just cut them down and just glue stick them together. And all I did with that is I've just used coffee stirrers on the back of it, and you can paint that whatever colour you want. White picket fence if you're in the States, you know what I mean? It's just so simple to do, really simple. It's just it's time consuming, but then at the end of the day you sat at a bench modelling. You know, we do it because it's time consuming and we enjoy doing it, and that's the only reason I do this crafting thing. I just really enjoy making something, thinking out of the box, thinking, how am I going to do this? It's like, you won't believe, we'll go back to the roundhouse, you won't believe the stuff I'm waiting for to do this roof. You honestly won't believe what it is, but it looks awesome when it's done. But we'll have to, that's going to have to be left on a back burner for a couple of weeks until this shop opens, that I can actually get this material that I want. You'll be blown away by it. Honestly, it looks absolutely amazing. So that's the fencing. I mean, what other type of fencing can you think of? Think of a fencing, you know, yourself, and think, how would I create that? You know, it's really simple. Once you get your head to something and think, you know, how would I do that? Instead of just relying on thinking, oh, I'll go down a model shop and I'll pick this, and, you know, scenic stuff up for railway use and things like that. Just make it yourself. Have a crack. Have a go. What have you got to lose? Right. Should we talk about my money saving tip for this week? Should we? You'll like this one. Let me get a packet. Let me get a packet. I've got something. There we go. Grass tufts. Static grass tufts. This pack cost me just over £4. Do you know how simple this is to make? Now, obviously, this stuff is self-adhesive. Now, you're going to struggle. You can buy the gluey stuff. It comes on a roll, and it's actually called the products. Believe it or not, it's called gummy glue. And the main company in the world that makes it is a company called Kenyon. And you'll see it on the back of, if you buy a magazine and it's got a freebie on it, say you buy a music magazine and it's got a CD on it, it's stuck onto the card, isn't it? And you pull it off, and the glue, you can it's like snot. It's still sticky and tacky, and it's called gummy glue. And it comes, there's different ways that they actually do it on. You can buy it on rolls, like little individual dots of this stuff on a roll, and they sell it in 8,000 dots on a roll. They sell a machine that you actually put a big clump of this glue into it, and it warms up like an industrial glue gun, and your items just run through it, and it drops 2 or 3 drops on it, and then clicks it and pops it on. There's that. Because Kenyon is a major company, a producer of this stuff, they don't really supply to individual customers. They sell to business, so it's very hard to get hold of the stuff. So the only other way you can do it yourself is make it, and then you'll have to glue it to your diorama or to your modeling piece afterwards. And the way we make it is really, really simple. We'll get our greaseproof paper again. See, it has multiple uses. I love it. It has multiple uses. We just don't use it for wet pallets. Don't ever use this in a wet pallet because it don't work. So we want some of that. Okay, we want our glue gun. And you want one of these. This is a Harris medium emulsion brush, or to me it looks more like a pasting brush. Now, you can, if you look around, any paintbrush will do. Any cheap, nasty, I'll take the handle off, we don't need that. Any cheap, nasty paintbrush will do. I bought this from Poundland this morning. Have a guess how much it cost me? It cost me £1. Do you know how many tufts I could make out of that? Seriously, how many tufts you could make out of that? At least 100. At least 100. Right. Jeff, all will become apparent at the roof of the roundhouse as soon as I can get hold of the materials to make it, Mike. It is, you won't believe it. You'll say, what? But wait till you see it. It's absolutely amazing. Right, so this stuff, what we're going to do, get our scissors. I'm going to cut a lump of it. Now, you want it quite long, because obviously this stuff isn't grass. This stuff we're going to use for rushes and things like that. Now, unfortunately, I broke my static grass applicator about a year ago, and I still haven't got round to buying another one, and I need to. I really need to buy another static grass applicator, because all the companies that make it, like Pico and all the scenery making companies, all they do is they get hold of these rolls of gummy glue rolls from Kenyon's, stick them all down on a piece of paper, and then use, you know, the electrostatic charge from that you get from your static grass applicator. No, it's not warm enough yet. And they'll put about 100 drops on a piece of paper and then sprinkle flock on it. And obviously it stands up. Leave it to dry for 30, you know, It's done. Boom, job done. And that's how they're made. It's that simple. Now you can make your own just by doing this. If you've got a static grass applicator teeth, just stick it on a piece of wood with a nail in one end, attach your crocodile clip to it, stick your glue down, and then shake your flock over it, and they will stand up in the hot glue. Right, so we've got a little blob. Stick it in and hold it, and then leave it. We'll do 2 or 3. And seriously, out of this one paint, this one brush, I could probably get at least 100 of these tufts. Now the other good thing about brushes, if you have a look around, you can find, I didn't find one today, I did look in 3 or 4 places, you can find some that have got multicolored bristles that are pale like this at the bottom and then very dark at the top. If you can get hold of one of them and do this, they make absolutely amazing bulrushes. They look so realistic, it's unreal. Right, so that's stuck on there. And a new glue stick. Another gluing stick. Put another blob on there. Scissors. A little bit out of there. Plonk it in. Leave it to dry. Right, I'll do it for now. I'll make some more in a bit. I'll make a load later off offline because I'm run out. Now the beauty of these now is you can leave them on that sheet, stick them in a drawer, and fall off, ain't going anywhere. Whatever you're doing, whatever diorama or gaming board or just a single miniature you want to make a display piece of, like a character, Space Marine captain or something like that, and you want to make his base a bit better, put it and then trim it to whatever size you want. Just leave it full length like that, and then put it on your diorama or your modelling piece, and then just trim it to however big you want it. But like I say, if you've got a static grass applicator, put 30 or 40 down, put drops of glue and then just do it, and then you'll end up. Well, I can't remember put that now. And it's the same sort of quality you'll get from the pre-bought ones from the shop. How easy is that? How easy was that? It's that easy, even I can do it. And that's it. Well, that's about it really for fences and walls, and we've done a few. We've gone through a few how to make different, really simple things to break up your terrain, break up your pieces. Nothing to stop you using that same technique on a diorama. Right, and it's that simple. Oh, and that one as well. Don't forget that one as well. The wicker fencing. That's more fun to do than it. It's quite therapeutic sitting here. Dad will tell you, I've sat here for many an evening in the last few weeks, just plaiting interwoven fencing. So let's have another quick look at chat. Oh, Chris is in. Chris, you're supposed to be making. We haven't got time for this. You're supposed to be making watches, mate. Jeff saying brilliant. I think I've seen these tufts for sale for miniatures, and they've been very expensive. And you do. You get about 50 in a pack for $5. Probably about $10 in the States. Just how simple is it? Knock them up yourself. Especially if you've got a static grass applicator, it's so much simpler, and so much easier doing it that way. I just wish I hadn't broken mine. I wish I'd bought one weeks ago so I could show you. It's just such a simple way of doing it. Really, really clever. Nat, yes, it would. It would, Nat. Nat saying it would be a lot of faffing, but do you think the paintbrush bristles would be good for thatch roof look? It does. It does make fantastic thatch roof look. I can show you another very, very quick way of doing it as well. Is this stuff? If you want to make a thatch roof, if you got 2 bits of cardboard like this, and then literally, oh, I just dropped it on the floor. Oh, right. If you literally, do you know that pom-pom thing I was on about? You can make that a pom-pom net where you get these 2 circles of cardboard, don't you? And then you wrap wool around it, and then some sort of magic technique, and you cut it with scissors, and you end up with a pom-pom. I don't know. My mum used to do it. I don't know. I used to do it. Right. So what you do, if you've got 2 of these bits of cardboard, and you wrap garden twine around it, so you've got double the thickness of this, obviously. And then what you do is you run a bead of hot glue down it, down both sides, and leave it to cool, and then cut it. You end up with, cut it this side actually, not your hot glue side, this side. You end up with a load of frayed ends as well, and you unfray it, and you end up with strips that look like thatching, and then you lay it starting from the bottom and then layer it up to the top. You can actually use this stuff, and it does make a really nice looking thatch roof. It's just that I saw this technique and I thought that is genius, and it looked amazing. So I am going to use the technique I'm waiting on, but you won't believe it. Honestly, you won't believe it, and how incredibly nice it looks. So you can use that for thatch roofing, and like I say, you can actually, yeah, if you used, it would be, you're right, it would be a lot of faffing about that to thatch a roof using individual bristles from a brush, but yeah, it could be done. It could be done, and I can imagine it would look quite good. But have you really got time to do that? Do you want to really get to that extreme? Whereas I can't say anything. I can't say the technique. I won't spoil it. Dad knows what I'm doing, but, and I think Scott knows, but it would spoil the shock of finding out what I'm going to roof Saxon roundhouses with. It's interesting. It'll be interesting. Right, so I think, we're about done. It's not, I haven't quite been an hour this week, but I work too fast, don't I? That's the problem. I do it too quick. But that's how you make your tufts, guys. Really simple, and especially leave them at length like that. Make yourself about 20 or 30. Leave them like that, and then just when you use them, just cut them to whatever size you want. So much easier. So much easier. I can do it. Anybody can do it. That's what I always said. And yes, Ted, and you would go for more than like that. Oh, it does very fast the hour, doesn't it, Jeff? It does go fast. It does go fast. I'm gonna have to slow my techniques down. I'm gonna have to come up with a technique that's gonna take me on. I don't know, maybe slow motion mode or something. But anyway, there we go. Thanks all again for watching. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for your support. What we got on this week? Should we go through the? I've written it down. I'm not like Dad. I write the radio times down. The modelling times. The model makers times. So what are we on? We're on Thursday evening. So tonight it's Chris, 8 p.m. Christopher? Do 3, yeah. That's easy when you're gaming, Fox. And Sunday, when you, I know, 3 hours, that'd kill me, mate. Fox, that would kill me. 3 hours would kill me. So anyway, Thursday, Chris, are you around, Chris? Are you doing? It's an evening, isn't it? Tonight, 3 with Chris at 8 o'clock, and then Friday is Fox with Fallout Friday. So that bit, I quite like that. I'm not going to get a chance to watch it as it's actually happening, apart from the last nipping at the last sort of like half an hour, because I'm not working up finish till 3. So Fox Fallout, and then Friday at 8 o'clock, Friday evening, is Natalie with her dexterous crafting. Dexterous. You'll have to do it like Dusty Bin, like 3, 2, 1. That's dexterous crafting at 8 o'clock. And then Saturday's a busy day. The weekends are always busy. We do try and keep you entertained. Your modelling community tries to keep you entertained over the weekend. So 3 o'clock on Saturday. Fox is skyrimming. Are you doing that pikey cat on Saturday again, Foxy? Foxy's pikey cat running around licking cabbages and carrots. Saturday evening, it's James and Carl and Steve on the creche at 8 o'clock. Sunday's another very, very busy day. Sunday, you have Colin and Dave at 12:30 till, or is it 12 till 2:30? 12 till 2:30. I keep saying it's half 12 till 2, but it's not. It's 12 till 2:30. Colin and Dave and their Sunday brunch, where they do the bunny bills. And yes, Foxy's saying the Khajiit will be adventuring on Saturday at 3 o'clock. So yeah, so Sunday, Colin and Dave with their Sunday brunch, where they do the bunny bills. Fantastic, great show. Nip in and watch it. Don't forget all of these shows. Don't forget, just do that little click the thumb bit, or it depends. You know, if you want to do it that way, mine's fine. But everybody else's do it that way. Give me a real thumbs up. It helps them boost them through the listings and the ratings. And model officer at 11 a.m. on Sunday as well. It is. So yes, you're right. It is Mr. Skiffing. I keep forgetting that one. Nat, thank you. Yeah, James, Mr. Skiffing at 11 a.m. on Sunday does the model officer's mess thing, doesn't he? So yeah, so that's that to watch first. Then it's Fox at 3. Then it's Colin and Dave at 12. Then Fox at 3, and then Dad at 6:15 with the in-between shows. In-between show, or in-between show. I'll get it right in a minute, Dad. The in-between show at 6:15. That's Dad, and then it's either Chris or Ted. Is it Ted? No, it's Ted this week, isn't it, Chris? At 8 o'clock on Sunday. I think it's Ted. I'm not sure. It's one of them, one or the other. Chris or Ted, 8 o'clock on Sunday. Monday is the usual e-models at 9 o'clock, and then next Tuesday is Phil on prime time with a guest appearance, probably again by me and Dad, because I think Tony's still busy. So me and Dad will nip in and just give Tony a bit of an hand, give Phil a bit of an hand, and that's it. That's your viewing for the next week, due to model makers' times. So it's so much better, isn't it? Now we're organised. We're organised now, Fox. We're all right now. We know who's doing what, when, and yeah. Lewis, 3 o'clock on Monday. Lewis is Lancaster. I've got to write that down. Hang on, I'll write that on my list, and I won't forget next week. I forgot about that one. Monday, 3 o'clock, Lewis. There we go. It's on the list now. Nat is on the listings of the model making times. So yeah, go and watch Lewis on his Lancaster build, isn't it? Nat, 3 o'clock on Monday. There you have it. I think I've mentioned everybody. Please don't forget as well, give people the clicky thumbs up. They like it. Especially Chris. Chris likes a thumbs up. All right. It's fine. It's an in-house joke. Yeah, and that's doing his Lancaster on Monday. Lewis is doing his Lancaster at 3 o'clock. Right then. So all that remains to be said is have a very, very safe rest of today. Go and wash your hands, you filthy animals, and I'll see you next week. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing next week because that material hasn't turned up. I will think of something for next week's show and surprise you with it. I don't know what. It might be a surprise to me even. So anyway, thank you all for coming in, and see you next week. Wash your hands, you filthy animals. Oh, I've got to click that.